All right, you pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Liberty and justice for all, not just the neurotypicals, not just the rich. We, the people, in order to create a more perfect union, it means us, united, means we work together. But some people are not good enough for your society. No matter how good they are, they don't fit your cookie mold. Therefore, they are bad people, right? It's okay to abuse somebody who thinks differently than you, has a different opinion than you. Isn't that right? In my court paperwork, Amanda Jonas wrote that nobody came forward probably because of the way that I act. No, there is plenty of documentation from these people that many of them tried to come forward and were prevented from doing so. Many more were afraid to come forward because they didn't want to be targeted like the ones who did come forward were. With Mandy Hughes, when I told her that I had recorded our conversations, I assumed she already knew because she claimed that she watched all my videos. She was targeted by police, same as the other people whose names I spoke about. Now, there are some of them who folded immediately, like Candace Bondurant, and the police stopped harassing her. And then there were people who were way too close, like Miss Peaches. Thank goodness. She was way too close to be treated like that. Then again, they wouldn't take a report from her, according to her anyway. I wasn't there to see her try to make a report. I'm trying to be fair and equal here. If you pretend I wasn't trying or wasn't trying hard enough, yeah, I'll do the same, but I will do it publicly. I will pretend that Miss Peaches never made an effort at all. She did. She did make an effort. But that needed to be in my court dates. That needed to be in my court dates. The fact is that I have been making an effort all along. Mandy Hughes, do you know why she was pissed off at me when I told her? Because she didn't want to be targeted by the public. She didn't want to be targeted by police. She was targeted by police. Police wouldn't take her report repeatedly over a situation where her daughter was abused. You know how fucked up that is? Police turn a blind eye to the abuse. I have every right to be pissed off at the police. Meanwhile, Mandy Hughes and Alyssa Rainwater didn't try very fucking hard. And Katie Cahill never tried at all. But I recorded our conversations and I posted them up. I posted up proof of the things that I was saying. Proof, actual evidence. I didn't break the law until there was no other option. It's either be abused for the rest of my life or get these motherfuckers in court. Force them to take a look at the evidence, however it takes to do that. However, police across the nation, because of the assault by Waylon Lolatai and the fact that I was assaulted, and that is on my record, despite the fact that they dropped the charges, that is on my record for every police officer that I interact with to see. It's at the very fucking top. And as a result, when I encounter police officers, they are generally very hostile. If I hadn't shown up to the door pointing a video camera at Officer Hahn, he would have treated me very differently. If I hadn't gone into the courthouse with Molly Smith, those officers would have treated me very differently. They didn't do anything about the abuse that I've been going through. I was literally forced to break the law to defend myself. Now, to some degree, what the police had to say is true. Miss Peaches didn't try very fucking hard to make a goddamn report, did she? Darren O'Connor said it was too complicated. So if they make it too complicated, that makes it legal? What, if 6 or more officers are involved in assaulting you, then that makes it okay? If they turn off their body cameras, that makes it okay? If they break your electronic equipment, does that make it okay? We live in a very corrupt nation where we have a government that puts on a dog and fucking pony show for us while victimizing the victims across the board. From CPS to the Boulder Police Department to Chapel or Dual County Sheriff's Department here with Scott DaCosta. The victims are the ones who pay for it. I made these things public for a reason. Because the media didn't care. Because the police didn't care. Because my public pretenders didn't care. And because my friends wanted to procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate. And many of them actually victimized me, like Lan Engeline. Because I wouldn't have sex with her my first night there, second night there, whatever. How does a woman treat you when she's been rejected? She treats you like shit in most cases. I was never rejected by any of these people because I never tried to have sex with any of them. I wasn't interested. But that slander was allowed in my court dates. It's not a civil issue. It's a criminal issue that police and even the FBI took part in. The fact is, when I lit that fire, I admitted to it. I admitted to it on Facebook. I admitted to it on YouTube. I admitted to it to the officers. And they outright lied on my paperwork and pretended like they had to trick me into that. No, they didn't. They already knew I was guilty. I knew I was guilty. I admitted I was guilty. I did it to force the police to do their fucking jobs. And I explained that to Officer Jonas. I explained that to the officer that I was speaking with when I was outside in my vehicle. The 14th of August. Nobody should have to go through that. These officers got away with the things that they did by slandering my name and by turning off their fucking body cameras and preying on the term mentally ill, including Scott DaCosta. I'm going to make another call to the FBI. Again, there are hundreds of them on here, by the way. Now, at first, I was nice to the FBI the first few calls. Probably the first 30 calls, I was nice. But after that, fuck the police and fuck the FBI, fuck the United States government. Until we have the Constitution back, none of this matters. Gang stalking is a federal offense. When it's gang stalking by police, who's going to do something? Candace Bondurant didn't fold because I'm a bad person. She folded because she was harassed by police. She was harassed by law enforcement and threatened with being thrown out in the cold. Yes, Candace had every right to be afraid. I started taking the pictures off of her wall so that people wouldn't know where I was at. And you know what? She said, no, it's fine. And you know what? People posted up in some of those groups pictures of her old living room. And that scared the fuck out of her. And she started talking about if they come for her and come for her kids and so on and so forth, she's going to shoot them between the eyes with her 45. And who was it that came to harass her? What vigilantes came to harass her? The police, law enforcement, her landlord. They intimidated Candace. I'm just an asshole to the dumb bitch for not coming forward about it. But I came forward about it and I posted proof of it. But I've had to deal with crackheads, meth heads, alcoholics for help. How are you going to help me if you're too drunk to know what the fuck is going on, Shannon Alvarado? How are you going to testify in court when you can't remember shit? I am overwhelmed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't go to sleep. I pass out. There's a big fucking difference. The United States preys on the mentally ill. The whole fucking country does. That's why cops need to be forced to wear body cameras. The victimization that I went through as a child and the victimization that I've gone through as an adult, it's the same abuse. The only difference between the abuse I endured as a child and the abuse I endure as an adult is that I am not sexually abused as an adult. The last time I was sexually abused, I was probably about 12 or 13. When you turn in your predators, and there are so many of them, you get treated like you are crying wolf. I have spoken out about this my entire life. Now people are just starting to realize how fucked up CPS is and how fucked up these foster homes are. Foster homes that I was raped and molested in. And it wasn't just the foster homes, it was also institutions and group homes. I was never molested by a police officer. Never. Not even once. But when I went to turn in the people who molested me to police officers, I got the mentally ill treatment since I was a little kid. You aren't a human being because you're in the system. Nobody should have to break the law to get the cops to do their jobs. The abuse that I've endured over Natalie and Alicia's slander meant that I literally needed a court date. I was trying to get a court date. Through all of this, a fucking court date. But how do you get a court date to go up against the Bollinger family when the police are fucking helping them because the police wouldn't do their jobs before she was killed? If I'd have known that Natalie was in Colorado, I would have gone to her jurisdiction. I would have gone into the police station there and I would have shown those officers exactly what the fuck was going on. But every step of the way, the police did everything in their power to ignore everything that I was trying to tell them, both before and after Natalie was killed. If I have to break the law to get these things documented, by all means, I will. Being tortured by police officers for trying to get an honest day in court, for trying to turn in the predators who are threatening, harassing, and assaulting me over this slander. That slander needed to be answered to. Obviously, with the trouble that Alicia is still getting into, she is still on fucking drugs. Alicia Bollinger is not the victim, she is the predator. Natalie's family are all predators. They victimize each other for Christ's fucking sake, just like my family. I got two uncles who molested one of my aunts. My dead grandpa molested my mom. My little brother molested his stepdaughter. Imagine that. And I'm supposed to, Lanny Engeline said, I need to ask family for help. Who am I going to ask for help? One of these predators? Do you think I really want to go to the people who beat me to ask for help? Do you really think that I wanted to go to my dad for help? No, I didn't. I was desperate. And that's why I went to my predators for help. Now, there are some people who were just very scary to be around. Shannon Alvarado was one of them. Sometimes she was drunk and happy. Sometimes, most of the time, she was drunk and looking for an excuse to take shit out on somebody. When she was drunk and happy, she did stuff that really fucking creeped me out. I told her I didn't want to play Wii because it hurts my back. But she insisted and kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. And I played that Michael Jackson game for her because she is obsessed with Michael Jackson. And then she wants to bring that up very often. Oh, I remember how happy you were with the playing the Michael Jackson thing. You remember the Michael Jackson thing? Yes, I remember it. I told you that hurts my back, but you were insistent and you pushed and pushed and pushed. And because I needed your help, I did what you wanted. But you never kept your word. I literally cannot get someone to listen to me without someone going in person. I need an advocate to protect me from these predators, from these officers who don't care about the law. Jen Beebe was supposed to do this, but she showed up there with her own agenda. I needed her to stop and listen to what I was telling her. Meanwhile, the officers who had done predatory things towards me, like Officer Hahn, got to be there. I am scared shitless because I need to make a report. against those officers and against the people who are threatening my life and actually harming me. And Jen Beebe had her own agenda. She kept on bringing up the fact that I missed an appointment. Of course, I missed an appointment. I was in fucking court in Colorado trying to fill out a report about how the officers had treated me in Broomfield, about how the Bollinger family was treating me, about their threats and harassment. Meanwhile, I'm being called a liar. You're a liar, you're a liar. And then I post up the evidence. You're a piece of shit for showing that. Well, bitch, you called me a liar. I proved that you're a piece of shit. How you like me now? With liberty and justice? No, not at all. Not even close. All of the things that they claimed that they couldn't do, they did for the Bollingers. They did those things for a whole family of predators who were gang stalking me. I had to break the law because law enforcement wouldn't do anything about it before or after Natalie's death. Because of the word stalker in Virginia. In Virginia, police broke my vehicle, outright lied to me repeatedly. Now, with Scott DaCosta, the reason that they shipped me to Scotts Bluff, the reason that they lied to Jen Beebe was because they needed to destroy my name to get away with the things that they had done wrong, to justify the fact that they had not done their jobs. I have no doubt in my mind that Natalie Bollinger would be alive today if the police had done their fucking jobs. Meanwhile, the general public wants to pretend that a family of child molesters, junkies, and fucking rapists are the victims. Hell no. Natalie's family are not the victims. Natalie tried to kill herself repeatedly because her family aren't the victims. Meanwhile, women can be predators too, like Jamie Curtis. Yes, Jamie is a predator. She is not a sexual predator, so far as I know. However, she is a predator. She uses and abuses men. And she uses her looks to do it, so it's magically justified. It's just assumed that Jamie is right because she's pretty. Now, between being on my side or Jamie's side, no matter how right I am, Chris Stegman will be on Jamie's side because she's pretty, because he still thinks he's in love with her. And to some degree, I can get that. I can kind of understand that. She's the one who broke me falling in love. I'd never been in love before that and never since. But I justified to myself, made excuses for myself that I must be in love because she's put up with my panic attacks and she's got all these suitors and she's still pretending she likes me. And I say pretending because it was pretending. She wasn't interested in me. She was just glad she had somebody to babysit. And I did babysit a lot. I had to go to people with a history of abusing me. You don't have to hit someone to abuse them. The amount of times that Lana Engelline said that if I come over, that she'll pay me. Like when I helped her move her books, she was supposed to pay me $200 for that, and it would have been worth $200 because it wasn't just the books. It was also scooping the dog shit out of her yard every week. I collected the evidence repeatedly. The problem is, without someone to go in with me, the term mentally ill gets thrown around like hotcakes. I literally have to break the law to try to force the police to look at this stuff. However, breaking the law puts me at risk because it's the very officers who refused to look at anything I was trying to show them or bringing to them or telling them. These very same officers are the ones who are going to arrest me and lock me up. And because I was charged with assault against a police officer and never allowed to defend myself against those charges, I get punished by police officers everywhere that I go. Fuck the police. Public pretenders, there's a reason we call them that. They're not going to do their fucking jobs.